tell y'all? You tuning into the best morning show on the globe. It's Bradley and Emery in the morning, y'all. LeBron or Jordan, either one when I'm performing. Crossover, buzzer beater and I'm scoring. Bradham and Emery in the morning. Every play they on it. Every day I'm balling. Who's the coach? Who's the GOAT? Like Brady and Belichick, best show on the globe. And they embellish it. Y'all pen Ziffy, I'm Ken Griffey or maybe Mahomes. I stay in the zone, whether man to man or play in the zone. They can't stop me. Mayweather boxing, Curry with the shot, man. We just the best to be. Can we have our SP, please? This was meant to be. Every morning with Bradham and Emery.
Yes, sir. You know the vibes. Bradham Emery in the morning. No Marcus Bradham. He will return tomorrow. Filling in on the co-host. Got my man Mike Jokum. I'm your host, Justin Emery. Mike, my guy, welcome back to the show. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good, man. I hope everybody likes to continue to hear my voice, and let's rock and roll, man. It's Monday, and I honestly am in a horrible mood. So let's talk about some sports.
Oh man, what happened? What's going down?
Well, you know the drama with my car, so
We're still. Oh, okay. I didn't realize it. I probably should have been. I'm probably a little naive, thinking that it was settled by now. I didn't realize that we were still in this dilemma. Talk to me.
So let's see here. I'll try to make this quick. Tuesday, I picked it up. You probably knew that.
Yes.
Wednesday, I drove to the grocery store, and Tuesday when I picked it up, I got it washed, and it doesn't feel right. But it's a new engine, so I don't want to kind of panic and overthink things. Wednesday, I had ran to the grocery store, and just sitting idling at a traffic light in my 2-mile trip, man, this does not feel right. My hands are shaking on the steering wheel. This is not a good sign. So I popped the hood open when I got back to the house, and I obviously an engine always vibrates and shakes a little bit, like that's just natural. But
yeah, I mean, it's a car. It's a moving car.
Right. So, but when you can like visibly see it looked too much. So I brought it back in Thursday morning before you and I hopped on, got another loaner car. And I don't remember if it was Thursday or Friday, but I could tell in my Ford app based on that they were working on it, because I get, the dash alerts on the app. Also, I can check the mileage. So I saw that they had tested something out and drove it, 15, 20 miles or so. So, I keep an eye on what's going on with it.
That how long did they drive it for?
Like 15, 20 miles.
Is that? I feel like that's long. I mean, I don't know. I have no clue. I'm just talking right now. But I feel like that's a long way for a mechanic to drive your car. Because, I mean, a good 15, 20-mile ride is, what, at least 45 minutes?
It's long enough. When they put the new engine in my car, they broke the engine in for about 50 miles. And that I got because it was a brand new engine. You want to
right, for sure.
You
Yeah.
put it in right. I'm a little confused and even more concerned because when they called me Thursday or Friday, they were like, yeah, we know something's wrong, but we don't know what it is. And I'm like, oh, great. And then scrolling through Facebook, I am now in the Ford Escape owners Facebook group, and everybody who has the engine I have, and by everybody, I mean thousands of people, not just, a few people in the group, are having engine or transmission problems with this car. So I'm just kind of like, I'm just bummed out right now.
Yeah, that's crazy. That I hate when you take something to a professional, assuming they can solve the issue for you, and they're like, yeah, we don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, like, just don't call me unless don't call me and say we don't know. Just call me when you do know. And now, my wife and I have talked about it, and we are concerned enough about the longevity of this engine, and with all the problems that Fords have been having in general, it's Ford Escapes and Ford Explorers particularly, that probably just going to, once the car is back, if I ever get it back, probably just going to turn around and sell it and buy a lightly used car somewhere else with that is notorious for being
Better.
better. Yeah,
What
Toyota,
I'll
Honda.
do, what we'll do after the show, I'll give you my guy Walt's number. Have
Okay.
him look at the car for you.
Yeah, if I ever get it back,
Yeah, if you
yeah.
ever get it back, he will, for the right price, he will come and look at it at your place.
Okay.
He has a shop. Obviously, I mean, he's a mechanic. Obviously, has a shop. He even has a tow truck. He has all of his own stuff. He has everything. It's in the city though. For the right price though, he will come to wherever you're at and do it. I know he's done it for me. He changed my tire in the parking lot of CVS one time. So I'll get you my guy Walt's number, and have him check it out for you if you ever get this car back.
Yeah, so long story short, I woke up this morning and that was the only thing on my mind. So it's just a stress that I don't really feel like dealing with. I really just want to have a productive week, and instead I'm probably gonna call them when we get done here and just be like, hey, what's the deal?
Yeah, you got to apply pressure. You just got to
Yeah.
keep got to apply pressure and keep pushing. So I hear you. Hopefully that gets resolved fairly soon. So today is Monday, April 5th. We got two things that we need to commemorate today as an anniversary. Number one in the sports world is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar sets the NBA career scoring record today.
Wow.
Yes. Back in, let me look it up. I think it was 84, but let me just look it up to be sure. It was, 1984. He set the record with 31,420 points, which is still today the all-time scoring record. I think LeBron has a potential to pass it, but as of today, right now, on April 5th, 2021, it is still the all-time scoring record. So, tip of the hat to the Cap for setting the record on this day, and he set it while playing the Utah Jazz at UNLV. So, it was not a game in LA. It was not a game in Utah. He broke the record in Vegas. And secondly, a lot darker of a anniversary. Kurt Cobain, April 5th, 1994, dies by suicide. Were you a Nirvana guy? Are you a Nirvana guy, I should say? Obviously, back then you weren't. But are you a Nirvana guy?
Yeah, I prefer Alice in Chains to Nirvana and that kind of era of music, but yeah, I mean, as a rock and metal fan, it's hard not to be.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm not necessarily obviously the big song. Oh, it smells like Teen Spirit, I believe is what it's called. Yeah, I mean that's a cultural staple as far as music goes. When you hear the opening guitar riff, you automatically know exactly what song's about to play.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you automatically start getting ready to run through a wall.
No doubt about it. So yeah, that's the anniversary of that. Now, we got to get into some sports topics now. We're going to get into the Phillies swept the Braves. The Embiid returned on Saturday, and then they got smoked on Sunday. But first, we got to do our little beef jerky sampling on Monday because we need a serious snack for serious conversation. And today we got the peppercorn smoked beef. Very good. A little on the sweet side. So if you're not crazy about like a sweet taste to your beef, you're not really going to enjoy it. But it has a heat rating of 4 out of 10. I honestly didn't really taste much heat with it. It was more sweet than anything else. It's also one of the softer styles of beef, because a lot of people think when they think beef jerky, they think the leather shoe type jerky. No, not this. This is much softer and much sweeter. I'd say I'd give it a 7 out of 10. It's not necessarily my personal style. I'm not the biggest fan of like my meat being sweet like that, but if you are into that, this will be right up your alley. If you're a fan of a little bit of citrusy taste to your meat as well, then you are going to be all over this, and it'll probably be a 10 out of 10 for you.
Yeah, I'm more of a spicy guy than a sweet guy, so I think I'd probably agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, everything that they make is delicious. You've gotten stuff from there. I've gotten stuff. Everything they have is phenomenal. Like when I
Yeah,
say
right.
something is not as good as something else, that doesn't mean it's bad. Okay, I want to preface that by saying that it does not mean that it's bad. It's just not my preference. And the peppercorn, it's very good, but it's just not my preference. So I don't want people out there to mistake it as, oh, the peppercorn's not any good. He didn't like it. No, no, no. It is good, just not my style.
Fair.
Especially because over the weekend I crushed one of the bacon jerky bags. And anytime you have those, everything else comes in second place to that.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll give you that.
Yeah, everything. Like if you're comparing anything to the bacon jerky, it's automatically going to lose. So, and then next week we will be having a special beef jerky tasting with our guy J. Cole, with a bunch of different barbecue sauces. So you're going to want to tune into that next week. Mike, a lot of people around the baseball world had the Phillies right around 500, maybe a couple games over 500. An improved team, but probably on the outside looking in terms of the playoffs. However, they swept the Braves to start the season, and they actually saw their playoff odds improve from 18% to almost 24% just the opening 3 games of the season. Now, I know you're a Yankees guy, but you're also a big-time baseball guy living in the Philly area.
Yeah.
What was your take on the Phillies over the weekend?
I mean, hats off to them for sweeping a very good Braves team. They got pitching, they got defense. The one thing that would concern me is all 3 games were very low scoring, and at some point you're going to need the bats to help out pitching because you're not going to get a great start like that every time from Zach Eflin. So, I'd like to see the bats come around a little bit more, but
Yeah.
I mean, their bullpen was awesome their bullpen was much better after being awful last year. So you like what you see. I don't know if I would change my season outlook on them that much after just one opening series, when a lot of teams take a few series in the regular season to kind of get their feet under them, but it's definitely a step in the right direction, and I don't think their outlook should go negative in any way. I think they're definitely in the 80 to 85 win range for sure.
Yeah. Like I said last week, I feel like if they win 86 to 90 games, they should make the playoffs. If they win like 82 to 85, I think it could be up for debate whether or not they're going to be in. But I feel like if you can break 86 wins, they should do that, because this division, in my opinion, is the toughest division in baseball this season. A lot of people might say the NL West, but the NL West is really just top heavy. You have 2 juggernauts at the top of that division, and then everybody else is garbage. Whereas in this division, you have 3 to 4 legitimate potential playoff teams within this division. I'm not buying Miami. I know a lot of people are in Miami are thinking that they might be on the up and up. You're not on the up and up. Let's just call it what it is. You are not. You are not on the up and up.
They could be a team that gives you fits throughout the year, though. Like I agree with you. I don't think they're more than a 70-ish win team, but they might steal a couple games when you kind of let your mind off the gas a little bit.
Yeah.
When you see that you're playing the Marlins.
Yeah, no, that's spot on. They're like the team that just won't go away. Like it's like a gnat. It's an annoying little gnat that just won't leave you alone. You know you can stomp it out, but for some reason it just keeps bothering you and you can't get it. That's exactly what the Miami Marlins are. Now, the hitting, it's interesting you said that, because yesterday my brother before the game actually said to me that he's actually worried about the Phillies lineup a little bit.
Yeah.
That's the part that worries him, because through the first 2 games in an extremely hitter-friendly park, without having the exact list in front of me, I'd have to assume that Citizens Bank Park is a top 3 to 5 hitters park in baseball. Definite,
Probably. Yeah.
definitely in the National League, but I'd go as far as to say all of baseball, probably top 3 to 5 without having the exact list in front of me. And it took to the third game of the season Andrew Knapp to hit a home run. They won the games, I want to say 3-2, 4-0, 2-1, I believe were the scores of the games. So you scored 9 runs in 3 games in this ballpark with apparently what was on paper, it looks to be a very good lineup. I really like the Phillies lineup on paper. Little concerning to see how it was to start the season, but I don't want to be all doom and gloom about it, with 159 games left in the year. Little concerning to start opening weekend and something to keep an eye on, in my opinion.
Yeah, the big and the last thing I'll say on this is, Harper was 1-for-3 with a walk, but struck out twice. Bohm was 2-for-4, struck out twice.
Mm-hmm.
Didi struck out twice.
Mm-hmm.
13 strikeouts in 33 at bats yesterday, and that's kind of like the Yankees when they do well. Dude, it's they strike out a lot, and they either hit a couple home runs or they lose 2-0.
I also feel like they said on the telecast yesterday that I think it was 8 of the strikeouts came from the bullpen for the Braves. It wasn't even their bullpen had more strikeouts than the starters did for them. Now the Braves have good pitching. I'm not taking anything away from them, but 13 Ks is very alarming in any game. I mean that's half your outs.
13 strikeouts were from the bullpen.
Oh, it was 13 from the bullpen?
No, 6 of their 13.
6 of the okay. Oh, so it was 6 and 7. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
That's still a lot from the bullpen. You don't want to see that. The Phillies, the last couple of years, they've been notorious for getting a lot of Ks. So hopefully they can turn that around. You ready for a crazy stat, Mike?
I love crazy stats.
So last season, the Phillies won exactly 1 game when the starter came out of the game with a tie game.
Wow.
This year, they've already won 2. So last year, even if you have a bad bullpen, you're better.
You've already improved.
Yes, as long as you're not terrible, you're good. You just need to not have the worst season ever. So, I mean, you probably made the playoffs last year as long as you don't have the worst bullpen of all time. So even a bad bullpen this year is an improvement. And you've already won more games with your bullpen this year than last year. And that's like a crime against baseball, man. Imagine that. Now, I understand it was only 60 games, but imagine in 60 games, you only won 1 when your starter came out with at least a tie game.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah. Abysmal. So that's why I was saying, it's almost impossible to have a equally bad or worse bullpen this year than last year. Because in order for it to be worse, it then again needs to be the worst bullpen of all time. And don't get me wrong, I'm usually an unlucky person. I don't have the best luck in the world, but even my luck is not going to lead to the worst bullpen of all time in back-to-back seasons.
I can't argue that one.
So that is my take on but it feels good to potentially have the Red October back. Big fan of the Red October. And I mean, I'm not naive enough to think that the Phillies are going to make a lot of noise in the playoffs, but given what I saw in the first 3 games of the season, I would be disappointed if they're not, at least in a wild card.
I think that's reasonable, to be frustrated at.
Yeah, I feel like you've made the necessary adjustments as far as the bullpen goes with the starting pitching. And real quick, starting pitching, Zach Eflin. I was ready to bury homeboy yesterday. Tip of the cap to him for coming out and getting a 2-1 victory. 7 strong innings out of someone who I actually bet on that would not see past the 5th inning. I've never been happier to take a loss on a bet.
Yeah, that's why I don't. We could save this for another. I'll complain about betting another day.
Yeah. What we'll do is maybe tomorrow. All we'll do is just bury betting because I am frustrated with
Yeah.
it a little bit too. So that's that. Around the league for baseball, surprised that the Orioles swept the Red Sox in Boston. The Orioles, Mike, maybe you know this, maybe you didn't. Like I said, you're a big baseball guy. Did you know that going into this season, the Orioles were the first team in the history of Major League Baseball to go, before they even played a game, have a 0.0% chance of making the playoffs?
Judging by my laugh, I did not know, but that's really funny.
They were it. I think it was Fangraphs that put it out. They had the only team ever 0.00% chance of making the playoffs. Now, don't get me wrong. Going out and sweeping Boston, I worked for the Orioles when they were legendarily bad. I think they won 50. I want to say they won 56 games that year.
Yeah.
Back in, I think it was 19. I think they won 56 games that year. But I'm not. I still think I still think they're probably going to lose between 90 and 100 games. But I can tell you these Boston fans did not expect to get punched in the mouth for three straight games by the Orioles in Boston.
Wow.
Including a drumming that happened yesterday. And I also have to, I don't know his first name, last name Zimmerman, the pitcher for the Orioles.
Jordan Zimmerman, I think.
I don't think so.
He started yesterday. I'll look it up while you're.
Yeah, he started yesterday. Zimmerman, for the Orioles. I got to tip my cap to him because I always enjoy hearing the stories of the guys who grew up in the city and then play for the pro sports teams of that city. He was born and raised in Baltimore, and now he's the starting pitcher for the Baltimore Orioles. So I have
my bad. His name is Bruce Zimmerman.
Bruce Zimmerman. Yes, he tip my cap to him. Getting his first. I believe he's a Loyola alumni from Towson. So tip my cap to him. Getting the big win in his opening debut. And as I said, I always enjoy when a player that grew up in the city. Like, it's one thing to be a fan of a team. Like, how many people when they're growing up, they're fans of the Yankees, they're fans of the Cowboys, they're fans of the Lakers. It's one thing to be a fan of that, but to then grow up and play on that team, especially if it's not one of the big teams, not the Lakers, not the Yankees, not the Cowboys, et cetera, et cetera. I always enjoy hearing that. So, Baltimore native turned Baltimore Orioles pitcher Zimmerman, good job getting that dub yesterday. Better job hitting that strikeout bet for me.
I like it.
If you had to pick one team to play for, who would it be? Any sport? Like, if that was you, if you were like, all right, I'm going to be the hometown athlete for the team, what team would you play for?
The Flyers.
Okay. Goalie?
Ooh, backup goalie.
Backup goalie.
I have this funny, I don't know, I find it funny joke I say to my wife where, like, my dream job is, like, backup goalie, low pressure. If you stink, you stink. Nobody really cares. You make a couple $100,000 for a few years. Then you get yourself set, and backup goalies are pretty expendable and they travel around the league. So that would be my ultimate job. Yes. Backup goalie.
I hear you.
I don't want too much pressure because at this point in my life, I just want to chill.
Oh, for sure. It's funny you say that. My ultimate goal that I tell Ree all the time is I want to be a stay-at-home husband. That's my goal.
I do that too.
Yeah. I feel like that would fit me very well. I think I would look great as a stay-at-home husband.
Stay-at-home dog dad. I'm already halfway there. I work from home anyway, so I just need to get the other half of it.
Yeah. I need a sugar mama to just let me become a stay-at-home husband all day.
Yeah, I love it.
Love it. So you got any more baseball talk real quick before we flip over to some NBA?
So I don't want to talk about the Yankees because they blew the opening day game,
The,
and
yeah, they had a rough start to say the least.
they had a rough start, which is pretty typical. But did you know
The thing
almost
is that you never worry about the Yankees though. They're one of the teams that all right, if this is still happening in July, then you worry about it. But in April, nah.
Yeah, they always start. They always start slow, where they just Aaron Judge opening day, bases loaded, one out, and he grounds into a double play. Like, come on, man. But nonetheless, I'll move on from that. Two Babe Ruth facts for you.
Ooh,
Speaking of baseball,
okay.
almost 100 years ago in 1925, he collapses at a railroad station called the Bellyache Heard Around the World because he had too many hot dogs and sodas. He was out of the lineup for 7 weeks that year and had some sort of operation. And then 9 years later in 1934, so this is probably getting towards the end of his career, he was personally sponsored by Quaker Oats and agreed to do a weekly show on NBC Radio. His broadcast salary for the 13-week series was $4,000 more than his reported Yankee contract, which was $35,000 a season. So he got about 40 grand for 13 weeks to talk on the radio about something. And so some kind of old school baseball facts. Also,
Well, I can verify that if you just consume a lot of hot dogs and beer, you're probably going to have the runs.
oh yeah, I don't even like eating hot dogs anymore. I feel like crap after one or two of them. So
I avoid hot dogs like they're the plague.
yeah,
Now a burger, I will
all
eat
day.
my entire body weight in burgers. But like I said, I try to avoid hot dogs like they're the plague.
And then one last one, 1913, Brooklyn, which when they still had a baseball team, opened up their stadium, Ebbets Field, for the first time against the Yankees in an exhibition game.
Okay. Okay. Yankees and I'm sorry, who was it Yankees against still?
Yankees against the Brooklyn, what's it, Brooklyn Giants?
Dodgers? Or were they not the
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
I'm confusing my sports at this point. Yeah.
No problem. Just wanted
To Casey Stengel was still playing for the Yankees at that point, hit an inside the park home run. Ebbets Field is one of my favorite old school stadiums to see photos at because the dimensions of it were wild.
Yeah, I remember the what was it? MLB 2K9, I believe it was. The game that had Tim Lincecum on the cover of it. I think it was 2K9. They had a mode where you could go back and play in historic stadiums for exhibition games and whatnot. And I remember I always chose that one. What was it? Abbott Field, you said?
Ebbets Field.
Ebbets Field. I always chose that one because it was so easy to hit it in the gap and get an
Easy
in the park
triple.
home run.
Easy triple, even with like
Oh yeah, a moderately
really
fast guy.
slow.
You don't even need to be top shelf for speed
No.
to do that. If you're just moderately quick and you can place it in the gap, chances are you were going to get at least a triple. And like I said, I was a big fan of it because it was so easy to get in the park homers with a fast guy.
Yeah.
Just hitting gap to gap. I want to say, wasn't it like close to 500 feet at one point in the outfield?
Oh boy, I'd have to look up the exact dimensions to be honest with you.
Let me pull it up real quick while I'm talking.
I got it in front of me here.
440. I'm sorry. No, I could have swore that it was bigger than this. Well, maybe
Yeah, I might be slightly confused too because I thought it was bigger than that. And anyway, they had a lot of cool football. Was there
it was
different
what it
football
is
teams.
just it was the bastardization of the outfield dimensions of what it was.
Yeah,
It is a mishmash of angles in the outfield.
All right, let's see if I can stump everybody listening or you. There is an apartment complex there now named after a legendary baseball player. Can you guess the legendary baseball player? I mean, think like ultimate legend and relevant to that area of New York.
Mickey Mantle?
Close, no. Jackie Robinson.
Oh, okay. Good. I knew it was going to have to be a baseball god
Yeah,
in order
right.
for that to happen. I was just thinking more Yankees than Dodgers for that one.
Yeah, I didn't want to say Brooklyn because I thought it would be too
Oh,
obvious.
yeah, that would have given it away, no doubt about it. That would definitely gave it away. So, no, great facts from you. Great facts from you as always. One time I was at a Phillies game and they had a big sign. It was when Barry Bonds came to town, and they had a big sign in the outfield. It said, "The Babe did it on hot dogs and beer. Hank did it with class. What did you use?"
Rough.
And
I mean, awesome, but
I remember just seeing it and being like, "Why are you eating that many hot dogs and drinking that much beer, bro?" But anyway, I digress. Moving on to some basketball. The big man returned on Saturday. Looked like he didn't miss a beat. Came in, flawless game. They played against Minnesota. The score on the scoreboard indicates the game was a little bit closer than it was. At one point in time, the Sixers had almost a 30-point lead.
yeah, it was garbage time points.
Yeah, it was. The Sixers really stomped the Minnesota. I'm really tired of Karl Anthony Towns. Just tired of that dude as a he's a good player and deserves to be in the league. Obviously, he's one of the better big men in the league. But just as far as watching him, it doesn't matter if he's playing against the Sixers or another team. Just watching him annoys me when the way he plays is just frustrating. So I'm really done with Cat, as an entire player. I understand he had a good game. His best performance against Embiid. Usually Embiid eats his lunch when they play against each other, but all they had to do instead was eat the lunch on the scoreboard. Sat out yesterday against Memphis. They got their ass kicked yesterday. They just couldn't. They couldn't buy a bucket, and on the other end, all Grayson Allen was doing was throwing threes into the ocean. Like, it was just one of those games. I've said it before. There's certain games that you just need to not overreact, and it just is what it is. I mean, Jordan went 72-10. They still lost 10 games. The Warriors went 73-9. Still lost 9 games. You're not going to go undefeated through the year. So there's going to be certain games that you just catch the L for, and it is what it is. Last night is one of those as well. I didn't have a great feeling going into it. I didn't think it was going to be I didn't think the outcome, what happened, was going to be the outcome. But I didn't really have a good feeling going into it. What is more concerning is that Ben Simmons looked like he didn't even belong on a basketball court yesterday.
It's been multiple weeks now where
we gotta give him his credit that he did play well on Saturday. He did have a good game on Saturday against Minnesota. So I do have to give him credit there, because give credit where credit's due. He had a good game on Saturday. But Sunday, did you play?
it's almost like he's like, well, Joel's not playing,
So I don't care.
so I don't care. It's I want to see Memphis do well because I'm too nice, and I don't know.
I don't get it.
I watched until about partway through the third quarter yesterday after we got home from my parents, and I turned it off. It just wasn't even worth getting frustrated over.
No. Like, you knew that about halfway through the third quarter, the game didn't matter because they just started throwing it down.
Like Scott was chucking threes like he was ready to go home and eat his Easter candy.
Yeah, tired of the Hive. Oh my God, I'm so tired of the Hive. I understand that we're a little depleted right now, so he has to play. But man, am I tired of the Hive.
Dwight Howard had a rough weekend too.
Yeah, Doc needs to rip him a new one, and I'm sure he already has because Doc doesn't play those kind of games. So I'm sure he already did rip him a new one. But you're a 17-year vet. What are you doing? Like,
running around like with a chicken with his head cut off yesterday and completely getting out muscled by Valanciunas multiple times on both ends of the glass. That was honestly the most frustrating part. Was not the outcome, it was the effort.
like I understand and I respect the fact that he firmly believes he's never committed a foul in his life. Like I respect the hustle, man. You know, oh, I ain't foul nobody. I don't foul people. It's becoming a big problem, especially on the games when we don't have Embiid. He needs to pull his head out of his ass. Because I don't know, like, he's a 17-year vet, multiple-time Defensive Player of the Year, NBA champion, first ballot Hall of Famer. You know, he's top 10, I believe, in – no, I think he's number 11 in rebounds and number 13 in blocks all time. Like, he's a top 15 big man of all time. I need you to play like that.
Yeah. I'm not gonna. You said it. You said it better than I could, so I'll leave it at that.
So I just still riding high on them. Sixers are still the Sixers are still the number one team in the city in my opinion. Just getting a little frustrated that it looks like I'm starting to watch the Sixers from last year again.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm starting to see the Sixers of last year. Now, they're tied with Brooklyn atop the East. They have the same record, but they have the tiebreaker against Brooklyn in regards to division record. The Sixers have a better division record. But you play them next week. You know, next Wednesday, Sixers. I believe the Nets are coming to town. So I believe it's Nets at Sixers. That game, I mean, I know we're still 3-4 weeks out after that from the end of the regular season. That game in and of itself, though, could be for the number one seed. I need them to come out and give it to them.
Even I don't want to necessarily even if they win or lose, but that's a game where you need to see a good effort.
It's a benchmark game. It's a measuring stick. You know, you need to show me X amount of things before we can do anything else. So.
And it's sorry, I'm looking at it here. So the Nets and Sixers, I'm not seeing it on the calendar for this week.
No, next week it's the 14th.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they play. I believe it's the 14th they play.
Yeah.
So I need to see it. I need to see a big dub. I want to see a big dub as long as you're competitive and like the game like. I come out of that game feeling like, okay, 7 games against the Nets, that's nothing. That's what I need to come out of that feeling like. I cannot come out of that game feeling like we're in 2 different leagues. Because if we do, then it's a big issue because you're starting to see everybody get bought out or get picked up off the buyout market. So you're losing your chances. George Hill is supposed to be coming back soon, you know, in the next week or two, recovering from, I believe it was thumb surgery. May have been just hand surgery, but I think it was thumb surgery. And he should be making his Sixers debut, hopefully sometime in the next week or two. So that'll be a huge lift off the bench. You have basically a savvier version of Seth Curry / Danny Green coming off your bench. So fingers crossed that he makes his debut soon because the Sixers, they definitely need it. They're sliding a little bit. I mean, big man was out, he's back, but we need to make some ground back up. We need to get back in the forefront of the Eastern Conference.
I agree.
So, well, we're going to take a quick commercial break here, and when we get back on the other side, I'm not much of a college sports fan, but we've had some action over the weekend that we have to address, and we'll be back after this.
Hi, I'd like to talk to you guys today about my friends at Uncle Mike's Homemade Ice Cream. USA Today selected Uncle Mike's Homemade Ice Cream as the best ice cream parlor in Pennsylvania. Uncle Mike's is a family-owned and dedicated to the production of premium quality and gourmet ice cream and sorbet, made fresh daily on the premises using the highest quality ingredients available. Uncle Mike's features over 30 unique delicious flavors offered in scoops, sundaes, shakes, and special order ice cream cakes and pies. Uncle Mike's Homemade Ice Cream is located at 537 York Road in Warminster and is open all year round. Visit Uncle Mike's and let their friendly staff serve you happiness one scoop at a time.
Hey everybody, I want to tell you about Beef Jerky Outlet. 110 Lincoln Highway in Langhorne, right at the corner of Business Route 1 and Oxford Valley Road. Check them out online at beefjerkyoutlet.com/Langhorne. Use promo code BREMI for 10% off your orders. You can check out, they have all sorts of them. Everything you could think of beef jerky, they have. They have a ton of other stuff too. Spices, barbecue sauces, peanuts, all different kind of things. My personal favorite, the honey barbecue turkey jerky. Head up there. Sharon and Michael will take great care of you. Again, use promo code BREMI for 10% off your order at beefjerkyoutlet.com/Langhorne.
Hi, I'd like to talk to you guys about my friends at Amy's Pizza. Amy has a plethora of pizzas for your munching pleasure, especially pizzas such as Hawaiian, margarita, and taco. Taco actually being my personal favorite. And also plenty more. If it's sandwiches you desire, they've got those too. Cheesesteaks, burgers, hoagies, even gyros. Amy's offers pickup and takeout options. Also, they're available on Grubhub. Amy's located at 332 York Road in the heart of Hatboro. You can call them today at 215-957-1000. Again, that's 215-957-1000.
Yeah, man, and we back. Justin Emery, no Marcus Bradham today. Mike Jokum in. So over the weekend we had the Final Four for March Madness. Gonzaga barely won against UCLA in overtime. Almost had double overtime. Baylor stomped out Houston, though. That game was over in the first 5 seconds of tip-off. Now, I'm not necessarily a big college guy, as I had said before, but that buzzer beater in the Gonzaga game, that is what sports are all about.
I am not remotely a college sports fan. I don't even watch a lot of college football, to be completely honest with you, but the
only college sports that I regularly consume is Penn State football, and that's only because I went there. If I went to a different school, just sub that football team out with wherever I went. So I'm in the same thing as you. I'm not really a college sports fan.
Like, I'll watch college hockey if it's on TV because I'm a big hockey fan, but it's only like if I happen to be sitting around and it's on TV.
Right. No, I'm just not doing college sports at all. See, here's my take on college sports is that I like to see athletics being played at the highest level possible.
Yeah.
So, and this is no knock against the guys in college, but say you have, 53 guys on a football team. Chances are, even at like the powerhouses, the Penn States, the LSUs, the Ohio States, every year you're getting at most maybe 8 to 10 guys drafted off your team, which means that you have a whole lot of insurance guys on your team as well. And the thing that I tell people when they talk about pro athletes and they say, blah, blah, blah sucks. They're the worst player ever. Okay, get it. They're playing terrible. But I bet you in college, that player was an absolute star. And I bet you that same player in high school probably has the field named after him. So the drop, in my opinion, the drop off in talent from college to pros is so big that it just turns me off from the college game.
Yeah. Sometimes like I'll watch a college game because it's on and I'm like, wow, the style of game just doesn't interest me. And I know they're amazing athletes. I was only a D3 athlete, so I have no room to talk, but it's just the style they play for the most part just doesn't really do a lot for me. And I know I'm going to get crucified for that, and that's totally fine. But the ending of that game was amazing. I was like, oh, it's going to double OT, and paying a little attention because I had Baylor winning it all, and Cardboard Fever podcast co-host Matt has Gonzaga winning it all. So obviously,
you want to keep an eye on it, yeah, for sure.
But
makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And will I watch the game tonight? Probably not. I mean, I might have it on in the background while I edit the Pit Lane Parlay episode that I
can promise you that I will watch as much college basketball today as I play.
Yeah, I'm probably. I say I might have it on in the background while I edit, and I guarantee you
You won't.
Tonight, I will forget.
Yeah, you won't. It's okay. One time, where was I at? I was in Atlanta. I was flying back to Philly. I forget what it was, a national championship game for basketball, 2014, I believe it was. I don't remember who was playing, but I believe that was the year. I was sitting next to some Louisville alumni on the plane. Mike, let me tell you this. I'm not a college basketball guy. I'm definitely not a Louisville guy.
Yeah.
But if you want to experience something wild, watch a athletic championship game from a college fan whose team is from the South.
Oh, yeah, they're wild.
It is a different experience. This guy got me so hammered on the plane. He was so excited that his team was winning. He kept buying me drinks on the plane. He's like, oh, you see the inbound pass? No, man. I'm 6 blue moons deep on my flight back to Philly. I have no clue what's going on in this game. I stopped. I don't even remember who's playing. It's a blue. What team wears the blue? I like the blue jerseys, bro. That's pretty much how it went.
You know how I speaking of blue jerseys, do you know how I pick my brackets every year? And I've actually won my a couple companies ago. It's 2014, maybe. I won $500. I pick based on if you have a hockey team, you automatically win, or if both teams have a hockey team, whichever one is better. If neither has a hockey team, I pick based on if I like your jersey or not.
Okay.
So sometimes I legitimately do pick, oh, they have the blue jerseys, and I like those.
Yeah, dude, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. Yeah. You know, when it comes to picking the bracket, do whatever makes you feel good. I actually haven't picked a bracket in like 6 years, and I feel great about it. Like, I might never pick a bracket again.
My wife did one for work because they were like, oh, can you do one, kind of build team spirit, whatever.
Yeah.
She watches less college sports than I do, which is zero. So she did one. I don't think she's checked it since then. And then the women's ended last night with Stanford winning. She was like, oh my God, I actually picked Stanford to win. And I went, son of a bitch. She actually, I mean, I hope you win something.
Yeah, hopefully.
I don't know if she does or not. I don't even know if she knows, but yeah.
Hopefully it's something that can go towards the Ford.
Oh yeah, that's don't bring that up. Man, I started to forget about that for the last 30 minutes or so, and now I'm angry again. And
well, we'll put a bow on this so you can go ream them out. Mike, let them know where they can follow you at.
Yeah, Twitter at Mike_JOAC. Give me a follow there and reach out and talk sports. About to get into the heat of racing season, which has me all sorts of happy yet frustrated. So feel free to reach out about that. And yeah.
Love it. Follow me at Justin Emery Show on the Bluebird app, at Brandon Emery Pod everywhere. 10% off your order at Beef Jerky Outlet with promo code BREMY. Get all of your Brandon Emery Show merchandise at BrandonEmeryShow.com. And Marcus returns back to the show tomorrow, and Mike will be on the show as well. We're running the trifecta tomorrow, so you definitely don't want to miss that. We'll have Justin Grasso from the Sixers joining us. We will have J. Cole on tomorrow, and we got a conspiracy theory with Twitty from Twitty and the Brand. So we got a jam-packed show tomorrow, so you definitely want to check that out. And until next time, you can be with us, you can be against us, but you are never, ever, ever, ever going to stop us. Late.